Picture this, a staggering $350 billion investment plea that could redefine global economics, yet it's slipping through fingers like sand. That's the heart of the tension brewing as President Donald Trump gears up for talks in South Korea, following his triumphant charm offensive in Japan that secured a whopping $490 billion in pledges. But here's where it gets controversial. Can such colossal demands truly benefit everyone involved? Or are they setting the stage for economic upheaval? As the annual Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit unfolds in the picturesque historical city of Gyeongju, South Korea, Trump is slated to meet with South Korean President Lee Jae-myung on Wednesday. Yet, whispers from top brass in Washington and Seoul reveal a deal that's proving stubbornly out of reach. The crux? Logistics surrounding Trump's bold ask for that eye-popping $350 billion infusion into the U.S. economy. Korean officials are wary, arguing that a straight cash injection might rock their nation's financial stability. Instead, they're pushing for loans and loan guarantees as safer alternatives. Plus, they'd need something called a currency swap line. Think of it as a financial safety net to handle the smooth flow of their money into American markets without causing wild fluctuations. For beginners dipping their toes into international finance, a swap line essentially allows countries to exchange currencies at agreed rates, preventing crises that could spike inflation or crash economies. This mismatch between Trump's expectations and South Korea's practical limits looms large, potentially eclipsing the summit itself. Hyundai, a deputy national security director, candidly shared with reporters that talks are inching along slower than anticipated. We haven't yet been able to reach an agreement on matters such as the structure of investments, their formats, and how the profits will be distributed, she noted on Monday. It's a far cry from Trump's smoother sailing in Japan, where officials are actively honoring a prior trade pact with $550 billion in planned investments. During a Tokyo dinner with business moguls, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick unveiled commitments topping $490 billion, showcasing projects in energy and tech that Japan is funding across the pond. Trump hit it off famously with Japan's new Prime Minister, Sanae Takaichi, even bringing her along to chat with U.S. troops on an aircraft carrier and highlight those massive undertakings.
Contrast that with the South Korean saga. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, aboard Air Force One, admitted a deal isn't quite sealed yet, just a lot of details to work out, he said, hinting they're tantalizingly close. For now, South Korea faces a punishing 25% tariff on its cars, leaving giants like Hyundai and Kia scrambling against Japanese and European rivals who dodge with just 15%. This disparity could mean higher prices for consumers and lost jobs, a real-world example of how trade policies ripple into everyday lives. President Lee, who stepped into office in June, shared a cordial White House powwow with Trump in August, laying on the compliments thick. But friction has simmered since, especially after a U.S. immigration crackdown at a Georgia Hyundai plant in September. Over 300 South Koreans were rounded up, igniting fury and feelings of betrayal. Lee warned that such hiccups make companies rethink investments. If that's not possible, then establishing a local factory in the United States will either come with severe disadvantages or become very difficult for our companies. They will wonder whether they should even do it. In early October, South Korea's foreign ministry announced U.S. approval for short-term visas or waiver programs to ease bringing in skilled workers for American industrial sites. When quizzed about the raid, Trump chimed in, "I was opposed to getting them out," and touted visa reforms to attract talent. While in South Korea, Trump's agenda includes a high-stakes Thursday sit-down with China's Xi Jinping. Tensions have flared between Washington and Beijing on trade fronts, but both signal openness to cooling things down. Trump has also floated a potential meeting with North Korea's Kim Jong-un, expressing disappointment over the lack of response. Pyongyang has rebuffed U.S. and South Korean overtures, insisting diplomacy won't resume without Washington ditching its call for nuclear disarmament. As if to underline its stance, North Korea test-fired sea-to-surface cruise missiles into Western waters on Wednesday.
flaunting advancing military might during Trump's visit. "I got along great with Kim Jong-un. I liked him. He liked me," Trump recalled.
"If he wants to meet, I'll be in South Korea." He even hinted at extending his trip, South Korea's his last stop, for a chat with Kim.
Though their prior encounters in Trump's first term yielded no breakthroughs on nukes.
And this is the part most people miss. Is pushing for such massive investments a genuine path to stronger alliances? Or does it risk alienating partners with unrealistic burdens? Do you think Trump's aggressive approach fosters fair trade, or does it invite backlash? Share your thoughts below. Does this strategy unite or divide nations? I'd love to hear your take in the comments.